Vanderbilt's got quite the fight on their hand for an in-state prospect, Kesean Bowman. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be exciting, but I think Vandy can do it.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Vandy podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. Thank you for making Locked On Vandy your first listen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for making us part of your day. I am your host, Corey Burton. We got quite the show. Baseball's got a huge weekend in Vegas. They can continue their hot momentum. They can continue their strong hitting performances. The weekend starters are going to have their work cut out for them this weekend. So it's going to be it's going to be a great showcase out there in Las Vegas for the Vandy boys. Also in recruiting, Vanderbilt is just continuing to get into these battles for these top guys. I've talked about it all along. Like for the class of 27, they've gained quite a bit of momentum. They've made the cut for a 4-star edge defender, Adriel Rojas. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but also we're going to get into Kesean Bowman. He's provided a little more clarity on his situation, which teams are in it, why they're in it, and all that good stuff. Does Vandy have a shot at that one? I think they do. It's going to be quite the battle, but I think there's something about being the hometown team. There's that pull that I think eventually Vandy can win out on that. I'm very confident in that, even though his list of potential destination has grown and he's taking 5 visits, I believe. So that and more right here on the Locked On Vandy podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla E, cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. So order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. So let's get into it. Kesean Bowman. And this would be a huge one. All right. 4-star wide receiver, Brentwood Academy, right down the road. He's played on all the him and Jared Curtis have a connection, I think, with all this 7-on-7 camp circuit stuff that they've gone to and competed with each other and competed against each other at these things. So there's some rapport there. And I think there's a notion that that could be a huge factor in why Kesean Bowman could decide to stay home at Vanderbilt. Now, it goes without question what he would mean to this offense. He would bring an explosive element to this offense that they've been lacking to this point. He's pretty electric, and him and Jeremiah Douglas and some other guys they may possibly be on the hook for. I think would make a really good wide receiving core. I think, like I said, they've got options now, and those guys would come in and have a chance to really kind of light up. But the receiver position at Vanderbilt is very much wide open for the most part. I think Ja'Cory Thomas, Cole Adams, Junior Sherrill, obviously those guys are your starters, but it is wide open behind those guys. You've got a bunch of talent, but as far as production goes, it's relatively unknown. So for Kesean Bowman, the opportunity is there, right? The opportunity is there, and there is all kinds of chances for early playing time, rotational stuff, things like that. I mean, you have some pretty talented guys coming in, obviously not proven experience-wise. You have Owen Cabell, Caden Smith, Joseph McVeigh, who caught a bomb against Missouri his freshman year. Hasn't done a whole lot since. LeBron Hill, somebody that they're looking forward to. Cameron Dixon as well, coming from the previous class, the 25 class. You have Tristan Brown, who just not sure what you're going to get. Caleb Barnett coming in as he's a slot guy that contributed a little bit last year. Needs to put on a little bit of size, but he's kind of, him and Cole Adams are going to be kind of taking over that slot position since the departure of Trey Richardson. So the wide receiver position, it needs some clarity. It needs some guys that you just know they're the guy, right? And right now you have 3 probably that you know, okay, that's the guy. But outside of that, you really don't know. And so this is a chance for some other guys to kind of get in that mix. For Kesean Bowman, that might be part of the draw. The hometown thing with him going to school in Brentwood Academy, like the hometown fans, being a legend in Nashville, playing right down the road, continuing to put Vanderbilt further on the map, or that dot becomes a little more solid because Vanderbilt's like on the map, but like, are they really on the map, right? You darken in that spot over West End, and you really kind of solidify Vanderbilt as a true contender in the SEC if they can continue to get guys of that caliber to come into the roster. So it's it's an amazing opportunity for Clark Lea and the staff to really pull this caliber of recruit. Now, here's what he said about Nashville. He was asked about all his schools and where Nashville stands. He said, Vanderbilt recruits me a little differently. Quote, they're more on the developmental side. They talk about teaching, how they can develop me and what I can do if I go there. I like how they recruit me and the relationships I have with the staff there. I feel like these type of quotes, I feel like you're getting these type of quotes from everybody, which means it's A, genuine, and it's B, consistent. That's their philosophy on recruitment. It's not just, hey, come in here and I think it's different because a lot of teams have gone to the mercenary route. They're like, yeah, come in here, you'll help us win, all that good stuff. But Kesean Bowman, he has official visits scheduled for Tennessee on June 5th. Also, Miami, Ohio State, and Vandy are expected to get official visits lined up later on, maybe Alabama. But until then, he is visiting Vanderbilt on March 21st during spring practice, Tennessee on March 28th, Alabama March 30th, Miami April 4th, and Ohio State April 13th. It is widely considered that he's going to official visit those places before he makes a decision. Now, he said this. He said, I had a commitment date set, but the closer I got to that date, more schools started to push harder, so I decided to push the date back. I just needed more time. Now I'm going to get out in the spring, take some official visits in the summer, and then make a decision. And ultimately, I think people were like, whoa. He had a date, and he pushed it back. Like, whoa. But this is a really important decision, and ultimately he's a high school kid. I'm glad he's pushing it back, even though there's more contenders, and even though that lessens the chance for Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt can present a strong enough case. I think if he would have committed somewhere, I honestly don't think he would have kept it because he was indecisive then. If he went ahead and committed, he was still going to be indecisive. He was still going to get the recruiting pushes. All this stuff was still going to happen. And more than likely, he would have probably ended up somewhere else because he's just kind of back and forth. So he wants to solidify the decision, which I can definitely respect that. And for Vanderbilt to be in this list of teams, and I know they're the hometown team, but like Tennessee, Alabama, Miami, and Ohio State are the other 4. Like traditionally, there's one that's not like the others. And this is going to take a lot of time for people to adjust to as well, because Vanderbilt being in that list is new. Being in that list is still odd to a lot of people, but it's honestly a sign of kind of where things are in the NIL era. It's a sign of just how Vanderbilt has put themselves in a position to be a relevant team consistently. And now that they're in these conversations, that's the first step. And I said the first step a couple episodes ago is raising the floor. This is raising the floor. All right. Before, the conversations they were in were like Ball State, Wake Forest, Buffalo, Boise State, Vanderbilt, right? Like those were the conversations they were in. Oh, they want a massive recruiting war with Rutgers. Which, I mean, no disrespect to Rutgers, but like, come on. you're in the SEC. But now they're in these recruiting battles with Tennessee, Alabama, Miami, Ohio State, or they're in another battle with Mississippi State with somebody. They're in another battle with Michigan on a recruit. Like, they're battling these blue blood programs now for recruits. And they're probably not going to get all of them. But the fact that they're in these conversations means that floor is raising up. Now, the next step is to now start to bump that ceiling. And to bump that ceiling, you've got to approach it. And I think if they can get some of these players, they can approach that ceiling. And so Kesean Bowman is one of those. And I about said Keyshawn Johnson. Kesean Bowman is one of those. So this is exciting. He's an in-state kid. You have a chance to really make a statement inside the state of Tennessee if you can land Kesean Bowman and sign him, not just get a commitment. I think this one's going to come down to signing day, whether he commits or not. He's going to come down to signing day. Now, he also said these visits will be big because they get to be around the coaches. Like, he wants to spend time and see. So that, I think, also goes in Vanderbilt's favor because of the atmosphere that Clark Lea builds around the program. Not saying these other guys don't, but I think there's something special there, and you can tell by the quotes, right? He has great relationships with all these guys. It's going to be a tough decision for him. I don't envy that. But let's compare the quotes real quick, okay? Because you can tell a lot if you really read into it. Now, I've been following recruiting for a while. It was my job for 12 years at Rivals. I would see this stuff all the time. And whether I purposely paid attention to it, you kind of just hear it, and you kind of just experience it. You kind of just know. So he said this: Alabama was number one on my list at one time. It was because of Coach Shepard. He moved on, but Alabama's still Alabama. So I want to see what Coach Nix is like. We've been talking and building a relationship, so I'll see more about Alabama when I get there in the spring. Okay, there's Alabama. Miami's really turning up the heat. They are up there because of the staff, how they reach out every day and just being so consistent. They really make me feel wanted. Miami had a good season. Their staff works hard, and they stand out. Sounds kind of vanilla, honestly. All right, Ohio State. I've known Coach Hankton since he was at LSU, so that transition has been smooth. He was why LSU was on my list, so him moving to Ohio State has been good. Since he got there, he's been consistent. They produce receivers, and I know he can coach. So those things make Ohio State stand out. But it's just one coach. I don't think Ryan Day is – I don't know. There's something about Ryan Day that just kind of – I don't know. But it's Ohio State, so they have a chance, right? Tennessee's been pitching me on the hometown hero. They talk about staying home and what I can do in their offense. The coaching staff at Tennessee has always shown a lot of love. Okay? Now, Vanderbilt recruits me a little differently. They're more on the developmental side. They talk about teaching, how they can develop me, and what I can do if I go there. I like how they recruit me. I like the relationships I have with the staff there. A little bit different of a quote there from Kesean Bowman. So I'll let you guys decide. How do you feel? What do you feel the differences are in those quotes? What quotes do you feel like if you had to rank his choices based on the quote? That's a fun game. I would be interested to see, like, if Kesean Bowman, if you're watching this, I would love to know what your ranking is, your pecking order is based on, and he would never tell me. But like, I'd be curious to know based on the quotes, because it feels like the two quotes that I feel like were the most genuine were the Ohio State quote and the Vanderbilt quote. I feel like Miami was very vanilla. He was trying to figure out something. Alabama, I think he's just trying to give them a chance, but I don't think that's going to materialize. Tennessee, I think the hometown stuff, it applies to Vanderbilt, and he knows that. So I think Tennessee's behind Vanderbilt. I think if it's not Vanderbilt, it's probably Ohio State. He mentioned a coach by name with Ohio State as far as like how close he was to him. So I think it's Ohio State and Vanderbilt. I think I would go, I don't know who I'd put number one, but Vanderbilt, Ohio State, just because I'm a homer. Then I would put Tennessee at 3, Miami at 4, Alabama at 5 in that list. That's how I would rank it. How would you rank it based on the quotes? just based on the quotes. My gut feeling tells me that's how I feel like at this moment. That's how I feel like his ranking is, based on the quotes. Now, Kesean, if you're out there, you can tell me if I'm totally wrong. But it's a guess. It's a guess based on the tone of your quotes. That is all I'm basing it on, right? I have no inside knowledge. I have no inside intel. This is based off nothing except for those quotes on paper. So it'll be interesting to kind of find out and figure out just how close I am to that situation. So, but when we come back, Adriel Rojas, that's a name to remember. That's going to be another recruiting battle. That's another conversation that Vanderbilt is in. It's more of a long shot. But again, there's a quote there. We're gonna break it down. What it means. This is like quote season almost. So we'll talk about it. It's Locked On Vandy. Stay tuned. Hey, it's 5 Hour Energy. Man, welcome to 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft with over 18 flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. Flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. And guess what it is? Here's the conversation. Confetti Craze is definitely in the conversation. You just gotta give it some love there. All right. Then, of course, Hawaiian Breeze is up there. I mean, passion fruit, orange, guava. It's that summer kick in the face that you need to make you feel good. The winter doldrums, drink a little Hawaiian Breeze, and you're going to feel right like you're in the summer, right? Sour apple's really good. Also, tropical burst. So those are the flavors I'm considering. But to me, the number one choice is going to be Hawaiian Breeze. Feel the breeze, taste the caffeine. It's made with passion fruit, orange, and guava flavors. It's sweet yet smooth, tangy yet tart. It's got that summer feel to it. So that's the flavor that I'm excited about there. Of course, the new flavors, Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy is available as well. And did you know that 5 Hour Energy Shots give you a boost with zero sugar? Did you know that it's they've got some new innovations planned? Did you know that this is the greatest thing ever? Confetti Craze is going to be good too. It's that birthday cake inspired flavor. Make sure you try that as well. So whatever you like, whatever your favorite flavor is, find that new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy Shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. All right, talking about Game Time. Guess what? Game Time is the place to go, man. College basketball season, the biggest stretch of college basketball season for that matter, is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, man, that's just bucket list stuff, man. The hard part is actually getting tickets, long queues, prices jumping around, surprise fees at checkout. No good. But the Game Time app gives you the advantage, gives the fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets. They're delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price that you see. So what you see is what you pay, period, end of discussion. Also, man, the seat view feature is a game changer. You can see the panoramic view from your exact seat before you buy. Zone deals let you pick the section and save even more while Game Time selects the seats. I love being able to follow teams in the app and get alerts when the new deals drop. So no stress, no guesswork, just smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. So take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. Thank you for making Locked On number one. If you need a second listen on the network, make sure you check out Locked On SEC and make sure you check out all the other shows we have around this network. So anyway, been talking about recruiting, and Vanderbilt, from a recruiting perspective, I feel like they are starting to get in the conversation with a lot of these top recruits from around the country. And I feel like it's something that for Vanderbilt to be able to start hitting some of these goals that they have as far as like raising the floor, elevating the ceiling, breaking out of whatever potential they have, they've got to start landing some of these guys. And the first step to landing these guys is to be in the conversation for these guys, right? So you get 4-star edge Adriel Rojas out of North Forsyth High School in Cumming, Georgia. He had 40 offers. He can go anywhere he wants. He's the number 121st prospect overall in the Rivals 300. You're competing with Alabama, Auburn, Duke, Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Vanderbilt. Those are the teams that made the cut. That's a pretty daggum good list, right? Georgia, Georgia Tech, obviously the in-state schools. That's a given. Then those are two great programs. Brent Key has made that program at Georgia Tech viable and a force within the ACC. But Alabama, Auburn, Duke, Florida, and Vanderbilt are the others. Duke is becoming a program in the ACC that people are going to have to pay attention to. So, and again, it's all about relationships. And it comes down to money. Obviously, is going to be a big thing for all these kids. But relationships, like you still at the end of the day, you still got to trust who you're going to play for. Are they going to have your best interest in mind, or are they mercenaries and going to take the business side of it and the business side only? So his plan is this. He's going to, according to this article, Rivals.com, he's going to take some spring visits and decide on his official visits after that. When he commits, the community will matter a lot. Playing time is something, and he's looking at too. And he wants the coaches to have a real plan for him and the people in the community also. So the fans will have an impact, apparently, in this decision. So, Vandy fans, you know what to do. You know the assignment. It's there. Make this kid feel like Vanderbilt is the only option. That's my message to the fans. Any of you that are out there listening. Now, breaking down the final 7 schools. Here we go. All right. Here's what he said about Vanderbilt. I didn't have a picture I could use that was that I didn't feel like I'd get in trouble for. So he gets the V. Adriel, if you want to send me a photo of you to use, if I talk about you again, go ahead and send it my way. Send me one that I get permission to use. So he says, I like what Vanderbilt is building. Coach Lea's done a great job turning the program around. I've built good connections with the staff, and it's definitely a place that I'm very interested in. All right. And that probably sounds more like a canned quote than most of the quotes you've heard about Vanderbilt, but still, he mentions Coach Lea by name. He says good connections, right? Let's compare it to some of the other quotes. I like this game. I have a great relationship with Coach Robinson. The staff has really taken the time to get to know me and build strong relationships early on. The guys there are the type of players that I want to be around. They run a great program and push to be elite. It's a great group. That was Alabama. All right. New staff built some good relationships since they arrived. I like the direction of the program, and the education there stands out too. Talking about Auburn. Duke has recruited me hard. I have great relationships with the staff. The people are great. Talk to the players about coaches, about culture. Everyone there has goals and they work. It's kind of the place that would push me to be my best. Florida, similar to Auburn. Georgia is close to home, built strong relationships there. I've talked with Coach Knight, and I like him. I like how the program is run and how they operate. Georgia Tech has a great staff. They relate well to their players. I went to the Clemson game, had a chance to talk to some of the players. They were great. For me, it's about the people there. For me, if I had to guess based on these quotes who his front runner is, I would say Alabama. But it's going to come down to the wire for Adriel Rojas, and this is going to be a fun recruitment there. Just for the fact that Vanderbilt is in these conversations is great. And that's where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. You want to be in a position to where you can make an impact on a recruit and they end up signing with you and they end up flourishing in your program because that's what you do. So with that, we're going to switch gears to baseball. This is a recruitment to keep your eye on. All of these during spring practice sessions, these guys are going to be visiting. These guys are going to be coming in droves. After February, the dead period lifts and it's back to being open. So there's going to be a lot of visits. There's going to be a lot of guys coming in and out of practice, things like that. You're going to see a lot of activity in the month of March. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be kind of crazy. So a lot of speculation, a lot of visits, a lot of quotes, a lot of things to break down. But like I said, leave it in the comments. Read these articles. Tell me what you think about these quotes. Let's try to analyze every angle of this so that we can overanalyze it, really. So anyway, baseball has a big, huge weekend in Vegas. They look to stay on track. They're red hot. They're second in the country in home runs. Can they keep that up in Vegas? We'll see. We'll talk about it next. Coast. Man, Coast Pay is giving Locked On College listeners up to $2,000 credit for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, construction, HVAC, landscaping, or any operation with trucks on the road, you already know how many messy gas stations and materials and spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappear, and month end turns into a headache. Coast Pay fixes all of that. Coast Pay is a modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets. Fuel, maintenance, materials, all in one card with real control and instant visibility. Every transaction shows up the moment it happens, no surprises. If someone fuels up at an odd time or tries to buy something outside their limit, you will know instantly. Real-time alerts, so you always know who's spending what and where. Automatic receipt capture makes end of the month simple. Fraud protection with employee check-ins by text, no shared pins. Works anywhere. Visa is accepted. No detours to specific stations. It's built for operators who don't have time to chase paperwork. Unlike old fuel cards, there are no contracts or commitments, just smarter expense control. So right now, Coast Pay is offering our listeners up to $2,000 credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockedoncollege to see how you can earn up to $2,000 in credit. Terms apply. The Coast Visa commercial credit card is issued by Celtic Bank. All credit card accounts are subject to credit approval. Thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen. We are wrapping up here. We talked a lot about recruiting. Time flies when you're having fun, when you're talking recruiting, when you're talking big things, but a huge weekend coming up for the baseball team out there in Las Vegas. Real quick, don't mean to be short with baseball, but I'll go over time just a little bit. But here's the deal. Friday is UC Irvine. Saturday is Oregon. Sunday is Arizona. So that'll be a lot of fun for the baseball team. I think they have a chance to really do something special here. The Texas series was not a good one for Vanderbilt baseball. They're looking to atone for that. That's the first time they have played a real opponent. So that'll be a lot of fun for them. Not the first time they played a real opponent, but first time since returning from Texas. Hopefully to get a good, hopefully get a better result, I should say, on the season. So if they can do it this week, it'll show me that they have truly improved, and it's not just the fact they're playing Eastern Michigan, Marist, and Evansville. That's not the only reason why they're hitting well. So we'll get to see that right there, and we'll get to see that live and in action this weekend in Las Vegas. So that'll be good. That'll be a good test for them as conference play approaches. So excited about that. Austin and I, Connor Fennell, Nate Taylor we'll get some quality starts here and really kind of see what kind of stuff they have. The bullpen will get a chance to prove themselves yet again in a game that's a little more challenging. And these bats will go against better pitching. So here we go. It'll be a true test. Is Vanderbilt for real? That is going to be the question that's going to get answered. Is Vanderbilt for real? And that is something that when you look at this team, you want to see them, and they don't necessarily have to score 15 runs to tell you that they're for real. They just have to hit well situationally. They have to score runs when they get the chance. Obviously, the pitching is probably going to be a little bit more challenging at times. When they get a chance to hit, they've got to drive the baseball and they've got to hit. They've got to score runs. They don't have to score in bunches, but they've got to show that they can score in clutch situations and help their pitching staff. Pitching staff, go out there, throw consistent innings, and make sure you don't do anything. Try not to do anything catastrophic. Get out there, get that win each night, and just get yourself ready for the gauntlet that is the SEC. That is the goal. That is what I want to see. I want to see the bottom of the lineup hit the ball consistently. You saw that in the last 6 games, but I want to see that continue. I want to see the bottom of the lineup produce on a consistent basis against good teams. I think you're starting to see some guys emerge. I want to see those guys continue to emerge. Obviously, the big 3 is the big 3, but I want to see who's going to contribute outside of Brody Johnston, Braden Holcomb, and Colin Barzey. Colin Barzey's making the trip. I think he's going to get to play a little bit this weekend. That'll be good with a sore shoulder. We'll see kind of how his health is going. So that'll be good to get him back in the lineup. But again, I want to see Riker Waite hit the ball. I want to see Tommy Gooden. I want to see him go off against the likes of Oregon and Arizona. And UC Irvine is a quality program too. They've been in the College World Series quite a bit. So they're a team they're a program that also is very viable. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Mancini, Rustin Rigdon. I want to see what they can do. I want to see the Johnstone brothers as well, Carter and Logan Johnstone. And again, I want to see this bullpen go out there and dominate the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings and 9th innings. I want to see who the closer is going to be. I want to see somebody come in with just absolute nasty stuff and just getting guys out and letting them know about it. I want to see a closer that's borderline psycho. That's just kind of what I want to see. Can I see that? I think that'd be fun. And all of that, I think it'd be a successful weekend if they can come out 3-0 or 2-1, worst case scenario. So make sure you check them out. Check out the basketball team. Stay tuned for that. There's going to be a little bonus episode coming up soon about basketball, some bracket projections, things like that. The women's team, shout out to them. Mikayla Blakes, another 30-point game. They've played 10 ranked opponents. This team is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And if it wasn't for Dawn Staley, they'd be the best team in the SEC. But dang, Dawn Staley having a freaking dynasty over there in South Carolina. Nobody can beat them. But Vandy, they're a dangerous team. They're dangerous. And Mikayla Blakes is the best player in the country. Convince me otherwise. I'm right here. All right. With that, comment on our chances in recruiting. Why do you think our recruiting has gone up? All that good stuff. We'll talk about all that. Talk about football, spring practice storylines, all that coming up on the show next week and beyond. Of course, baseball and basketball, all of it. Let me know. Drop a line at Locked On Vandy on social media if you want to. If you want to follow along at home, give me feedback. Tell me what you want to talk about. Also join the Everydayers Club at lockedonvandy.supercast.com. Go to that link. You can learn more about that and ad-free audio, all that good stuff. So I'm Corey Burton. Thanks for watching. Thank you for making Locked On Vandy part of your day. Like, subscribe, anchor down. Until next time, have a great weekend. If you're traveling out to Vegas, be safe. If you're going to the basketball game that's at Kentucky, be safe. Until next time, anchor down. Peace.